Listen to me carefully. Being broke is not cute, and being dependent is not a strategy. Every girl needs to be financially independent. Not someday. Not when she gets married. Not when life forces her to now. Because money isn't just about luxury. It's about freedom, power, dignity. Choice isn't just about paychecks, it's about breaking patterns. It's about never shrinking, never waiting, never settling. If you're still waiting for someone to rescue you financially, you're living in a fairy tale written by someone who never wanted you to win. Listen. There's something no one tells you while they're busy teaching you how to be polite, how to be pretty, how to be pleasing. Money is power. And without power, the world will shape you into what it wants, not who you're meant to be. Financial independence is not a luxury or a privilege, it's a necessity. It's the foundation beneath every strong woman who knows she's not here to just exist, she's here to thrive. Because when you have your own money, you don't have to ask. You don't have to beg. You decide. You walk into rooms with your back straight and your head high because you know you are not owned, not trapped, not stuck. Let's get one thing straight: depending on someone else financially is handing over your freedom on a silver platter. That's not partnership. That's imprisonment disguised as comfort. It sounds harsh, but it's the truth. When your survival depends on someone else's income, you're always negotiating your worth. You compromise more. You tolerate more. You stay longer in places that drain you because leaving feels impossible. But when you're financially independent, you don't need to tolerate disrespect just to keep a roof over your head. You don't need to swallow your voice just to feel safe. You walk away not because it's dramatic, but because it's necessary. Every woman at some point in her life has been told to be taken care of. That phrase is poison dressed up as romance. It teaches you to outsource your safety, to hand over your dreams, to trade your ambition for approval. But here's the truth: no one will take care of your life like you will. No one will protect your passion, your purpose, your voice the way you can when you're in control. Financial independence means being the one who signs the checks and sets the boundaries. It means building a life isn't just heard, it's respected. When you earn your own money, something shifts inside you. You stop asking for permission. You stop apologizing for wanting more. There's a fire that comes from knowing your survival doesn't rely on someone else's mood, opinion, or generosity. You move differently. You say no differently. Because now you have options, and options are everything. They are the difference between staying and leaving, between silence and self-respect, between being a prisoner and being a queen. That shift, it's not about arrogance. It's about ownership of your time, your decisions, your destiny. This isn't just about paying bills. It's about reclaiming your identity. Because for too long, women have been told to play small with their dreams, to settle for less, to be grateful for scraps. But financial independence flips that script. It says, I will not wait to be given what I can earn. It says, I am capable of building my own empire. That's not just empowerment, it's revolution. And every woman who chooses to step into her financial power is a threat to a system that feeds off her silence. So let them be uncomfortable. Let them be intimidated. That's not your problem. Your job is to rise. And understand this: financial independence doesn't mean you don't want love or partnership or family. It means you want those things on your terms. It means you bring value to the table, not just emotionally, but economically. It means no one gets to control you with money, guilt, or fear. It means the life you live is one you built, not one you were given, or one you were forced to accept. And that's where true strength lies, not in being rescued, but in being relentless, in being prepared, in being powerful in every room, every role, every chapter of your story. Let me tell you something that may shake the ground beneath everything you've been taught. No one owes you security. Not your family, not your partner, not your job. The moment you internalize this truth is the moment you start taking back your power. It's easy to fall into the trap of expecting someone else to provide stability, especially when the world constantly whispers that women are better off under someone's protection. But what happens when that protection becomes control? What happens when the person you depend on decides they're done supporting you? You're left standing in the ruins of a life that was never yours to begin with. You deserve better. And better starts with taking responsibility for your own security. Relying on someone else financially gives them control over your choices, whether you see it or not. It may feel like comfort at first, but over time, that comfort turns into compromise. You start adjusting your dreams, your behaviors, your voice just to keep the peace. You avoid confrontation, silence your ambition, and dim your light because deep down, you know the money isn't yours. It's borrowed power. And borrowed power can be taken away at any moment. The only way to protect your dignity is to never put it in someone else's hands. When you earn your own income, no one can silence you with a threat. No one can make you feel small with a paycheck. It's dangerous to build your life on promises. People change. Circumstances shift. Relationships end. Companies lay off. The market crashes. Life is unpredictable, and depending on others for your financial well-being puts you in a constant state of risk. You don't need to live like that. You don't need to sit around hoping nothing goes wrong. You need to build a life where even if everything falls apart, you still stand tall. That's what financial independence gives you. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you the ability to face chaos without crumbling, because you've built your foundation on you. Some people will try to guilt you out of wanting that kind of power. They'll call you selfish, too ambitious, too focused on money. But let me ask you, what's selfish about wanting to be able to take care of yourself? What's too ambitious about wanting the freedom to make choices without fear? Money isn't the root of all evil. Dependence is. Blind reliance on anyone, even someone you love, is a dangerous game. Love should be a partnership, not a transaction. When both people bring financial strength to the table, the relationship is healthier, stronger, more balanced. You're not staying because you have to, you're staying because you want to. That's real love. If you've ever had to ask for money to cover your basic needs, you know how small it makes you feel. You start negotiating your worth just to survive. You hesitate to speak your truth because you're scared of the consequences. That is not the life you were meant to live. You were meant to speak with confidence, to walk away when something no longer serves you, to set boundaries without guilt. And all of that becomes possible when your bank account says, "I got you." It's not about being rich, it's about being resilient. About knowing that no matter what happens, you have your own back. Let's be clear, being financially independent doesn't mean you never accept help. It means you're not reliant on it. It means you're capable of creating your own safety net. It means you never feel trapped in a situation because you can't afford to leave. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way. You become untouchable not because life won't try to break you, but because you've already built yourself strong, secure, unshakable. And that kind of woman, she doesn't just survive, she commands her space in the world. Let's talk about dreams. The world loves to romanticize them. Follow your passion, they say. But they leave out the part where dreams cost money. Passion needs a plan. Vision needs funding. And purpose. It needs a financial backbone. You can have the most brilliant ideas, the boldest imagination, the fiercest ambition, but without money, those dreams stay locked inside your mind. They stay concepts, not realities. Financial independence is what gives your dreams legs. It gives them speed. It gives them wings. You don't get to change the world if you're constantly asking for permission or scraping by. You need power, and in this world, that power is economic. Let's stop pretending that money and meaning can't coexist. The most successful women understand this truth. Your dream doesn't just deserve to live, it deserves to grow, to shine, to be loud and limitless. But to that, it needs resources. You want to write a book, start a business, travel, learn, build, lead. That all takes money. And when the money comes from you, the direction, the control, the timeline, everything belongs to you. You're no longer waiting for someone else to invest in you. You're not pitching your value, hoping to be chosen. You choose yourself. You become the CEO of your life. And nothing is more powerful than a woman who funds her own future. When you don't have financial independence, you filter your dreams through fear. You think small because you have to. You compromise before you even start. You talk yourself out of risks because you're scared. You don't just dream, you act, you experiment. You try, fail, try again, because failure no longer means devastation. It means growth. That kind of freedom breeds innovation. It turns quiet ambition into loud execution. Financial freedom turns maybe someday into I'm starting now. There's a certain pride that comes from watching your dreams come to life on your terms. Not because someone funded it out of kindness, not because you got lucky, but because you worked for it. You stayed up late, saved, planned, hustled, and now it's yours. That kind of pride can't be gifted, it's earned. It doesn't just build confidence, it builds resilience. Because even if the dream changes, even if you pivot, you know you can do it again. You've done it once. You've tasted the power of creating something from your own grit, and nothing feels better than that. Financial independence also changes how the world sees you. People treat you differently when they know you don't need them. You're no longer easy to manipulate. No longer someone who can be offered the bare minimum and still say yes. You start commanding respect in rooms that once ignored you. You speak differently because your voice isn't weighed down by desperation. Your choices aren't filtered through fear. You're not stuck in survival mode anymore, you're in strategy mode. That's the difference between staying behind and moving ahead. And money earned by you is what gets you there. Most importantly, being able to fund your dreams means you stop living on the sidelines of your own life. You stop cheering for others while putting your own goals on pause. You stop waiting for the timing to be perfect, for the support to come, for someone to believe in you. You become your own first investor. And when that happens, your life shifts, your mindset expands, you move like someone who knows her worth isn't just emotional, it's economic. And from that place, your dreams stop being distant, they start becoming inevitable. There's a transformation that happens when a woman starts earning her own money. It's not just a change in her bank balance, it's a change in her energy. In the way she walks into a room. In the way she speaks, carries herself, makes decisions. There's a fire that lights up inside her, not because someone told her she was enough, but because she proved it to herself. That fire is confidence. Not the loud performative kind, the grounded, unshakable kind. The kind that comes from knowing you can stand on your own, take care of yourself, and choose your future. That's what financial independence gives you. It feeds your self-belief like nothing else can. The world will always try to make women feel like they have to earn their worth in someone else's eyes. Be thinner, be quieter, be more likable. But when you earn your own money, something inside you snaps. You realize you no longer need to mold yourself to fit into anyone's version of success. You're already enough. You don't need to wait for approval. You don't need to play small to keep the peace. You've built your own foundation, and that gives you the freedom to be unapologetically you. That kind of self-assurance is dangerous in a world that thrives on female insecurity. It's not about being arrogant. It's about being aware. Aware of your own strength, your own capacity. When you know that you can pay your bills, handle emergencies, and plan your life without needing to ask for help, you move differently. You set higher standards. You say no with ease. You don't beg for love, for attention, for crumbs. Because you're no longer operating from lack. You're operating from enough. And enough is a powerful place to live. That kind of inner stability is priceless. And once you've felt it, you'll never settle for less again. Confidence born from financial independence also reshapes your relationships. You're no longer choosing people out of desperation or dependency. You're not tolerating disrespect because you're scared of being alone or unable to afford life on your own. You're choosing partners, friends, and connections who align with your values, not because you need them, but because you want them. That's the difference between attachment and alignment, between surviving and thriving. Financial independence gives you the clarity to walk away from anything that doesn't honor your worth. Another thing people don't talk about enough: how much clearer your mind becomes when your basic needs are met by you. When you're not stressing every day about money, your brain has space to dream, to create, to explore. You can finally ask yourself deeper questions. What do I really want? What am I here to do? What brings me joy? You can pursue purpose instead of just chasing survival. That mental freedom born from financial stability is what allows confidence to grow roots. It's not just about self-esteem, it's about peace, focus, direction. And that's something every woman deserves. The most powerful thing about confidence that comes from financial independence is that it's yours. No one can take it from you. It's not based on a job title, a partner's support, or anyone else's opinion. It's based on what you've done, what you've built. It lives in your body, your decisions, your energy. It walks into the room before you say a word. And once you've earned it, the world can feel it. You become someone who doesn't just hope for change, you are the change. That's the kind of confidence that shifts families, communities, generations. And it all begins with choosing to be in control of your own finances. For generations, women have been taught to shrink their worth, to say thank you when they're underpaid, to stay quiet when they're overlooked, to accept just enough and call it gratitude. But here's the truth: enough is not enough when you are built for more. Financial independence is how you take back your narrative. It's how you say, I see my value and I refuse to let the world discount it. When you start earning and managing your own money, you stop begging for recognition, you demand it. Not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty of someone who knows what she brings to the table and refuses to shrink herself for anyone. Money's not just currency, it's clarity. It tells you where your priorities lie, what you're willing to tolerate, and what you truly want. When you are financially independent, you begin to understand your own patterns. You learn to draw the line between generosity and sacrifice. You stop pouring into everyone else while leaving yourself empty. You start building habits that reflect respect for your time, your effort, and your future. And when you start operating from that level of awareness, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not reacting, you're planning, you're not surviving, you're building. You're not settling, you're selecting. Financial independence is not just about avoiding struggle, it's about creating choice. You want to take a break and breathe? You can. You want to invest in your education? You will. You want to support your parents, fund your business, travel the world, or walk away from a toxic situation? You have options. That is the quiet power of financial freedom. It gives you flexibility. It gives you control. It gives you time. And in a world that's always trying to rush you, exploit you, and drain you, that kind of control is revolutionary. It's the difference between being used and being purposeful. When you don't have money, your voice gets quieter. Not because you're less intelligent or less capable, because you know your survival depends on someone else. You hesitate to speak up at work. You let things slide in relationships. You choose safety over truth. But when you're financially independent, you stop filtering your thoughts. You stop shrinking in conversations. You own your space. You start asking for what you deserve, not because you're entitled, but because you've earned the right. And the more you own that space, the more you inspire other women to rise too. You become a mirror of possibility. What we normalize becomes the foundation for the next generation. If we continue to accept financial dependence as the standard, we pass down a legacy of limitation. But when a woman chooses to be financially independent, she changes the narrative for her daughter. She shows that it's not only possible to thrive on your own, it's necessary. She becomes proof that strength doesn't come from waiting to be saved, it comes from saving yourself. And that example, it ripples. It shifts the culture, it rewrites the expectations. One financially empowered woman can break generational patterns that have lasted centuries. Let's be clear, financial independence doesn't mean you don't ask for help or never rely on others. It means you can stand alone if needed. That's a different kind of strength. That's the strength of a woman who isn't afraid to walk away, to take risks, to start over. A woman who doesn't confuse dependence with loyalty. A woman who knows that her value isn't determined by how much she sacrifices, but by how much she respects herself. And money, earned by you, is a tool for that respect. It is how you show the world and yourself that you are not for sale. You are not for silence, you are here to rise, and you don't need permission to do so. There is a kind of freedom that only comes when you know you can walk away from a job, from a relationship, from a situation that no longer honors you. That freedom is not emotional, it's financial. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you are not trapped. You are not stuck. You are not at the mercy of anyone else's decisions. And that kind of freedom doesn't show up overnight. It's earned, it's built dollar by dollar, choice by choice. When you're financially independent, your life is no longer dictated by fear of losing someone or something. You don't tolerate disrespect just because your livelihood depends on it. You walk into every room knowing you have options. And that knowledge alone, it changes everything. A woman with financial independence is a woman who makes choices from strength, not desperation. She doesn't stay in a job that drains her soul just to keep the bills paid. She knows she can leave and create something better. She doesn't beg for affection or chase validation because she's terrified of being alone. She's already enough on her own. And she certainly doesn't compromise her boundaries for convenience. Financial independence sharpens your intuition. You begin to see clearly which opportunities are real and which ones are traps wrapped in promises. You stop saying yes out of fear and start saying no with clarity. You don't just protect your peace, you choose it. When a woman is financially dependent, the world often tries to keep her silent. Don't make waves. Be grateful. It's not that bad. But when she has her own money, her own fur, she speaks up. Loudly. Unapologetically. She calls out injustice. She advocates for herself and others. Because she's not scared of the consequences anymore. She doesn't have to ask, what will happen if I speak the truth? She already knows the answer, she'll be fine. Financial independence gives you a voice. And once you find that voice, you don't go back. You don't shrink. You don't settle. You rise. It's important to understand that this freedom doesn't just benefit the individual, it benefits everyone around her. When a woman is financially independent, her entire circle grows. Her children witness strength and self-respect. Her friends feel inspired and empowered. Her community shifts because she starts demanding more, not just for herself, but for others. She invests, she gives, she leads. And she does it from a place of wholeness, not obligation. That's the kind of energy that builds legacies. Not temporary success, but generational change. And it all starts with the decision to stop depending and start owning. Freedom is not just about mobility, it's about mental space. When you're not constantly worrying about how to make ends meet, you start dreaming again. You start planning bigger. You allow yourself to want more, not in a selfish way, but in an expansive, unapologetic way. And with that desire comes action. You create systems, routines, goals. You move through life with purpose instead of panic. Financial independence rewires your brain from scarcity to strategy, from survival to success. And when that shift happens, you stop existing and start living, not just getting by, but getting ahead. So, here's the truth: being financially independent isn't just about money, it's about power. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. It's about standing tall and never having to lower your voice, your standards, or your dreams for anyone. Every girl, every woman deserves to know what it feels like to choose her life, not just accept it. To wake up every day knowing she's not just surviving, she's thriving on her own terms. This isn't just a financial decision, it's a revolutionary act. And the moment you choose it, you don't just change your life, you give every woman watching you the permission to rise too. Start now. Not someday. Now.